Now, Avraham Avinu is a burning issue in my life. Avraham Avinu in Avadig, he was their man. And why? Mainly because he was called Avraham Ivri. Aver, the whole world's there and I'm here. That took them. And in Slobodka, he was everything. Why? Because of the chesed, the story. This week's Parsha, Vayera, such a murderous story. The way what he did, he went all out for people. Rabbi Miller says on him, there was no greater human being in the history of mankind. There's no one like Avraham Avinu. I recommend these weeks, you're going to say not a lot of nice pshatim. The best pshat, you sit alone and you say, Hashem, I want to be like Avraham Avinu. And put your heart and soul. You're an anacle. Try to be like him. He was the most successful human being in the history of mankind. There was nobody who became like him. He was so unbelievable. And there's a chazal that says only on him. Hashem Kaviyachal patches his hands together and he says he wishes the world would become full of Avraham Avinu. I have so much Gan Eden to shell out to give everybody. If only they would become like Avraham Avinu. I said it. What?
What crotch religion?
A whole business from Aleph till Tough. Avraham Avinu, he was tough and he was humble. He was his midas and his purity. I said about like this. Look, here these people. He went to Mitzrayim. They're ugly. So Sarah, we have a problem. They're all ugly. As I state in Rashi, they don't look good. So I state in Rashi, and she's just the opposite. And so he's got a problem. Wherever he goes, he has a problem because of his Sarah. She's Royal Malchus. How come those kings don't get themselves a Sarah? And he's not really a king. He became Nasi B'Sachenu, he became great, but he doesn't have a royal lineage or anything. And he's got a Sarah that the whole world. How did that happen? I'll tell you how. There's only his exchange between him and the Mama Sarah. The only time we find him doing a favor for her besides pitching her tent before his, that we find. And also, that's like a remez. It's not an open, entire parsha is Chai Sarah when I have to bury my Sarah in the best place. And he's so involved with so much money and so much effort. I have to make a hesped on her and my Sarah. When she dies, that's when he's so involved in her. When she's not here anymore, that's when we see, wow, look what he goes all out for his wife. That's why he's zeichet to such a beautiful Mama Sarah, beautiful in every way, because he was pure. A person's gone. They can't pay you back. They can't smile and say thank you. That's a chesed shalemes. He was pure. Avraham Avinu was pure. His regard for Sarah was, he respected her to no end. He was machshav her. Today, by the Goyish world, everything you have is for me, for me, for me, for me. And he worked the other way. He respected her and he loved her in a true way. Not the way you Mamela. He has Gashmias more than everyone else. He's got everything, and they have to start making shtick to get what they want. And you kidnap the wife and you kill the husband. That was a style all over the place. Because you don't do things right. The Eibishter rewards you. When you're Elach, when you're Emes. Avraham Avinu's Emeskite. He was real. He wasn't like, Mela, he zeichet everything. That was my vote. Now in Novandig, they once met Reb Gershel Lieberman. He was walking around in his shchuna, and he was looking for something. And they asked him, Rabbeinu, ma ta mechapes? What are you looking for? He says, Ani mechapes shvirot amidot. I'm looking to break my midas. I'm looking high and low. Give me an opportunity to break my midas. Where did that come from? I once told Reb Gershon Avot about Avraham Avinu. And it wasn't l'chavod Avraham Avinu. Reb Gershon looked like he was so hurt. Like, I didn't understand. I was a young guy. You said Avot, he had this chasar and this. Reb Gershon was taken aback. He mamish looked like he knew Avraham Avinu personally. And he says, I can't accept that. And he was makar of me till Shemaim until I said that. I can't. To say to Avraham Avinu, I can't. Now, I had the impression that he actually knew Avraham Avinu. I did hear, I don't know if it's true, you could believe it, that in the last years, he was once in the sukkah, the night the Shpiz of Avraham Avinu, and he said, there he is. You don't see him? I don't know if it's true or not. It could be. Oh, yes. He was a person who was so connected. People look at Ishei HaTanach as, they're them. And we're here. I want to tell you, Marduk Gemara and Brachas. Rabbi Yossi was in one of these haunted houses. It wasn't a house that wasn't so... the house was a big sakana to be there. For whatever reason, he had a daven, and he davened there. And suddenly, Eliyahu Navi comes over to him. And Eliyahu Navi says, he waits for him to finish, and he speaks. Eliyahu Navi speaks to him with derech eretz. And he says, Shalom Aleichem Rebbe. And he answers him, Shalom Aleichem Rebbe Mari. Rebbe? Eliyahu Navi is from way back. Hundreds of years. And that's how he talks to him. He calls him Rebbe. I don't know Pshat in Chazal. But I'll tell you, the people that live before us, we look at them like they're somewhere in a glass case. It shouldn't be like that. A person has to feel a attachment to the fear of the Gederis. You have to feel you're part of it. It's all the same. We're working together. You lived earlier. I realize my place. I have no shaykhs. But you have to feel an attachment to them. Chavetz Chaim used to call people from the next world and talk to them. And he'd schmooze around with them. And he'd tell them, how come this and how come that? And people I knew 2 Jews, 3 Jews, who had Gilo. They had, it's known. One of them was made openly. Yes, I did. Rabbi Yalapian, it's known he had Gilo. He met Eliyahu Navi. How did he meet him? Because he didn't look at, when he learned Tanakh, he didn't put Eliyahu Navi in a glass case and like, that's him, this is me, it's a different world. We're working together. You have no idea. It's a different world when you relate to the Friedrich Gederis and you want to work. Now, I'm later than you, and you're much bigger than me, but I have my place. I'm not a nobody over here. I'm an American boy that's trying to improve. I'm not stum. A person has to appreciate himself. It makes it easier to connect. It makes you want to be. The Gemara in Makis compares all kinds of Yaakov Avinu to Rabbi Shmuel Rabbi Yossi, like 1,000 years apart. And he specialized in this, and he specialized in that. The Gemara Makis. They're all, you don't know how big you are. You're also a somebody. You can do things that they never did. You have to appreciate yourself. You can do things they never did. Rav Safra, the Rebbe's Bovavois, the Rav Safra. And Yaakov Avinu had this midah. And this, how are you comparing? What's going on here? Yaakov Avinu's a malach. Who are you? And Gemara has a whole list of all different people from all different generations. He specialized in this and he specialized in that. His son, I'll mention one of them, Yeshafat Melch Yehuda, V'yirei Hashem Yechabed, the one who had covered for Talmud Chacham was Yeshafat Melch Yehuda. When he saw a Talmud Chacham, he jumped off his throne, he ran over to him, he kissed him, he hugged him, and he called him Rebbe, Rebbe, Meiri, Meiri. Now I'm saying something. Why was he so special? He's the one that it says, if you're a person that has the real realness, you have a different kind of respect for a Talmud Chacham. You love him, you appreciate him. I had this experience myself until I worked on blowing myself to Shemayim and calling myself better than everyone else. 1,000,000 times, in 1,000,000 situations, I'm always the best guy around here. I couldn't do what, after a while, I became very, very comfortable and close with people that I used to shake in their presence. And today I can kiss them and hug them and I feel it. And I feel respect. In order to get that respect and that love that you should have for a Talmud Chacham, first be a vayigba liboy b'daki Hashem. You can't do that because you're petrified. You're so afraid of people. They're all gods. Everyone's busy making gods out of people. We do it all day long. What is his opinion? And his opinion, Rabbi Miller has a beauty. And I read, it's not Shaykh. Rabbi Miller. By the way, anybody want to give money the Spring Hill Times? Here it is. You can give money, much as you want. Anyway, so what I want to say? What was I talking about?
Has a beauty.
Huh?
Miller has a beauty.
He has a he says nowadays this kid grows up and he's a cute kid, and the mother wants to get him to eat. Did I mention this in this VOD yet? No? The mother wants to get him to eat. And she's sitting there like this. And I'm going to say my own nusach of what's going on. And she's going this, Chaim, could you please take a little bit applesauce? And Chaim says, no, Mommy. No, Chaim, please don't do that to me. Now this is a grown woman. She's not, here's a tiny kid. You can't make a bracha when he's around. You realize he's one of those. And here's a lady that's, she went to Beis Yaakov, and she's a mora. She might be a principal too. She's a somebody. And she's a tzaddikus, and she, who knows? And she's sitting there, and she's looking at her little bubbler, begging him to eat. Now the kid actually wants to eat. He would like to eat. But how can you replace the game that's available? There's a game, this is going to be fun like crazy. Get mommy on her knees. There's a big grown-up who's falling on her knees in front of tiny me, and she's begging me to take another bite. I'm going to have a good time here. No, I don't want to, Ma. And watch what happens. She's going to go berserk. Her little bubby's not eating. She's going to offer him some money. You want a quarter? No. What's a quarter? For 5-year-old kids know what money is already. No, he's not 5, he's 3. How old is he? 2. He's barely, he was just born. And she offers him more money and more money. Finally, and he's fighting back and forth, and she's having a nervous breakdown. She's trying to feed the kid. And she's making such a mistake. She would have got out of the picture, let him eat. He would have eaten up the whole thing 10 times over. He's got an appetite. He likes the food. But since you're making a whole issue, so he says, let's Taka have an issue. It's a lot of fun. And finally she gets him. And it's not Chaim, it's Malki. It's a girl. That's the way Rav Miller tells the story. The girl grows up, and then finally he eats, and she kisses him and hugs him like he's the Gadol Hador. He finally ate, my stuff that I made. Or the girl, Malki grows up, and she's making money, and her husband works like a dog, and they're short, and have to pay the bills. And Malki has a lot of money saved up, and someone suggests maybe you can help. What? I should give money to my father? Are you serious? She thinks they're crazy. This is Rabbi Miller's story about what goes on. And no, that's not right. And if they dare say another word, she'll get a lawyer. And the lawyer will defend her. How dare they ask? That's Rabbi Miller's story. I think it's what the world's all about. Anyway. Well, it's not that bad, but it's a cute story anyway. I mean, yeah, it's a dar of different mahalchim, People don't know who's who. The respect. I heard once from a Yerushalayim Yid, Kabed es bincha. What's this Kabed es bincha? Kabed es bincha. You have to treat, I heard this, a Yid from, I don't want to say where, an American in Eretz Yisrael, not too far from Yerushalayim, who has a whole yeshiva for guys who never, they went off the derech, they're coming back, they need help, those types. 2 different kids told him, I believe parents should respect children. 2 different kids. And he was talking, oh really? Yes. Parents, actually, he's got a raya of Tamida Yosem Mikulam, all right? But there's no halachas of standing up for kids. And, Eina Say says, Devarov, and, I don't know if these Shulchan Aruch for respecting kids, but these guys, you have to respect children. Not right to respect children. Anyway, I always say you respect yourself, and the whole world will have from you. Make sure you respect yourself. You go first. The main thing is me. If you hold from yourself, then it's the whole world. I want to tell you now, Avraham Avinu, his greatness, he treated them with such awe and respect. These Arabs, they looked like to him, and they bowed down to the dust of their feet. They were the lowest of the low, and he ran. Why did he get so excited? Because he had just done a bris milah. And a bris milah says, the Abish Kaviyachal saying, my bria is not perfect. The human being is going to perfect what I didn't do right. Kaviyachal. I'm giving you a makam as gadaba. You are going to make the perfect person with a bris milah. Now he's good. What I did is not good enough. You're doing. It's more the gazach. What's going on here? But it says it's chuni banai der chazals, where Hashem likes that. He wants people to show who they are. He wants them. So Avraham Avinu understood. What a human being is. It's not shayach. So he went running. He says, "Please let me abducha." He calls himself an eved, and he runs. He goes all out because he realizes what a human being is. Unfortunately, I was doing in the history in the Second World War. 2 countries got smacked like no one else. The Germans and the Japs. The Japs, obvious. The Japs had Hiroshima and Nagasaki. There's pictures of total devastation. The whole place wiped off the map. Some atomic bombs, 2 atomic bombs they had. And in Germany, Berlin looked like a parking lot. The famous Berlin was razed to the ground. He got it, but good. Those 2. I've said a horror. The simple shot is they were the 2 cruelest nations. They were very cruel to prisoners. Oh, what the Japs did to the Chinese. Oh, what the Alzarius and what the Germans, we know them. What these people were so cruel. But there's something else going on. There's a lack of respect for themselves. Do you know how many, you read the history of the German, how many of them committed suicide? These top-ranking officers. This guy said the wrong thing, and the Führer didn't like it. Next thing, boom, suicide. Suicide is like, breakfast, lunch, supper, suicide, it's gefährlich. There are so many stories. What became of him? Suicide. Suicide, another one, suicide. Hitler Yamach himself, where did he end up? Suicide. And the Japs had a shita that you're not allowed to, you don't surrender. Better kill yourself. They had the kamikaze units, you know that. When they fought, there's a picture where they're bowing down to, what's his name? The emperor, the Japanese emperor, and they went to go to war, and they knew without any suffix they will never come back. It's a suicide mission, lachatchila, kamikaze. That's how they attacked Pearl Harbor. With the kamikazes, now you got to fight with them. I'm blowing myself up. So I want to be made of something. Why do these two nations get such a devastating? Because when you don't like yourself, you're not going to like nobody else either. It's all cheap. Life. Tzelem Alikim. Abraham Avinu was in awe of a dusty Arab. He was in awe. Abducha, he calls himself. He calls you, you're my master, you're my everything. Could you do me a favor? Come inside. I'll do anything for you. He loves him. And he loves light. You know what light told him? He's crazy over light. He has such respect for every human being because he respected himself. You know what his name is? Avram. Ribamus. And what's her name? Shrara. The name. Abraham Avinu had dignity. He held from himself. Abraham Avinu, you want to see all the psukim? Don't say, Anochi Yishati Es Abraham. Don't be a wise guy with me. Right? But even Echamahi, he tells Ephraim, Yehalavai, you give it for me to normal. But he was a chevra. You'll take a look. Rashi over there. Abraham Avinu was no pushover. He had tremendous self-esteem. Vapak the whole world. In fact, he had a name, Eson. Tough. Eson Azrachi. Abraham Avinu was a tough man. He held from himself. So, the first lesson is to have Ribamus, to hold from yourself. The first of all the Yavis, Avram. First, hold from yourself. Pesach HaRishon. And the first baby that's born, his name is Yitzchak. Yitzchak means laugh. You know what Rabbeinu here says? Sorry, Menu knew nothing about the promise that she'll have kids. Avram didn't tell her, whatever reason. He didn't tell her. So when she heard she'll have a baby, it was a spontaneous laugh. It was like the weirdest thing in the universe. I'm 90, and boom, a baby. It hit her, and the laugh was so unbelievable. That's the name Yitzchak. So I want to say, you have to start off, beginning of Klal Yisrael, you got to laugh. What does the Gemara say? Who was it? Rava? Before you start learning, he cracked a joke. It's a Gemara. First, crack a joke, then we'll move on. First, you got to learn how to laugh. When you know how to learn how to laugh, then you'll have a different world. I just cracked a good joke just before. What did I say? I forgot my jokes. I wonder if they'll mun me in Yannavelt. You're not supposed to forget your learning. Forgot my jokes. I told somebody a joke. He was on the floor. Like he asked me to say Mazel Tov, somebody across the street. And I said Mazel Tov, and I cracked a joke, and him and his wife were on the floor, mamish. I was so funny. I forgot what it was. Oh yeah, I said like this. Now he's a Chassidish guy. He's a real hot Chassidish guy. And I says, you know, I happen to like Chassidim. I told him, yes. And he's from the real, but not, he's beyond the regular Chassidish guy. He's into it. Yeah, way, you know. And I says how much I'm also like it. And I speak for the public And whenever there's a Sephardi sitting there, I say, I have a weakness. I like Hasidim. That's my thing. And then when I see a Sephardi sitting there, I say, I love Sephardim also. And by the way, Litvaks aren't bad either, Granda. I like them also. That was my joke. He was on the floor. Anyway. But I once had a Hasidic guy comes over to me. And I says, oh, you're from that Hasidus? He says, yes. He says, I love them. I hold a velt from them. You sure you got the right one? Yeah. You know, there's been a split. Oh, yeah? Which is the one that you like? I says, which one are you? That's the one. Which one are you? Why should I complicate life? Oh, you? That's the one. I love them. Because people are so truthful. You got to be truthful. I'm truthful. Wait. How could you say that if you don't even know? I'm Makel. At this stage. I'm Makel. I say, yes. No. You guys, but you don't even know. It's fine. I hold from you guys the most. But don't complicate me. Probably Bטחון. Don't get into details. Don't give us details. You know how they get married. The Novherdik is closed esrog boxes. You marry that one, you know, it's going to work out. Don't complicate me. It's a big thing. Anyway. So, I'm telling you, when I went to Bnei Brak, the guy didn't know it hit them. I got up and I said, in Lakewood, there's signs all over. Tzaddik Bola ear, that's me. I said my stuff. The guy didn't know it hit them. Like, who's this guy? They all know me. They got brachas. One guy got a bracha on Chalamayit. He got a bracha Chalamayit. He's 44. He's divorced. I gave him a bracha that he should get a girl right away. The next day, it was Wednesday. Thursday, he met her. 30 days later, he's a chassan. The guy's 44 years old. That's one of my meifsim over there. And I daven. I says, Eibishter, I heard the guys were coming at me with all kinds of issues I never heard in my life. My Enico was there, all kinds. This guy, well, he's married 25 years, he has no kids. He wants a kid. Mandel, we heard about you. We want a kid. Mandel, you're the biggest palmipus around. What they expect of me is that Jaya. And I give him, no problem with me, for sure. I'm very stark. Do you know that the only part of davening that's an ikuv is the first three brachas. Tchias HaMeisim. That's an ikuv. You know, you're asking for money, Berech Aleinu, with kavanah, I'm saying. You got to say all Yudches brachas. But if you don't have kavanah with Rafa'inu, Berech Aleinu, Atachinu, Dazon, all right, you're yaitza. But if you don't have kavanah in Tchias HaMeisim, you're not yaitza. So, what? You're not yaitza, no? First? Only the first part? First bracha, no. Tchias HaMeisim is part of the first bracha. It's the first bracha. If you don't believe, before you start davening, you're going to say, you can make dead people alive. And if you're not into that, you're not yaitza. We believe in miracles. So people look at me funny when I perform miracles. I daven with kavanah. I don't know about everyone else. I think most people, the kavanah doesn't really kick in until Berech Aleinu. Berech Aleinu is the star of the show. Berech Aleinu. Ay, panusa. What's with panusa? It's fine. You know, Rav Shab once told me, you have to have an igiyah in your davening, something that you really need. That'll get the kavanah moving. So, Berech Aleinu is mighty, you know. You have some pardosa problems, you'll start davening like a mensch. So that's why you have problems. make a mensch out of you. If everybody had everything he wanted, it wouldn't be so. Everybody has something he needs. If you don't have something that you need, you're nowhere. Without your peckle, it's nothing. Everybody has to have a peckle. Everybody has to have a peckle. That's life, except for me. Officially, I'm not kidding. Officially, I have no. Yes, my wife. What my peckles are. The wife is supposed to know the husband better than anyone else. She knows me like a book. I have no peckles. People around me might have peckles that can deal with me. I'm joking. Anyway, no peckles. What peckle? People think it's a mitzvah to have a peckle. They don't feel right. Something's not right in my life. I feel an emptiness. Something's not right. You know, you need a good peckle that'll get you nervous. Oh, now you feel fish in water. Some people, they feel they need it. You know, they need it. Now I feel comfortable. I can catch. You know, somebody can catch. If they finish fetching this, we'll get something else to fetch about. Yeah, as long as you're fetching. You know what percentage? I met a guy 25 years ago. This guy comes over to me. Something happened to him. Suddenly, boom, he lost all his money. Suddenly this went wrong with the kids, with the parnasa, suddenly the best friends ditched him. It's a true story. 25 years ago it happened in Hawaii. The guy comes crying to me. He was literally crying. He says, "What's with me?" And he says, "I did something bad." He tells me. And I know why it's happening. Just before then, he did something. Listen closely. He had a psak from the Gadol Hador, mamish from the biggest posik around, that he's mechuyev to do something that's a little not pleasant. Somebody was not kosher in his life, seriously not kosher, and he had a chiyuv to give the guy whatever. You had to be tough with him, and right afterwards, this happened, and that happened, and this happened, and that happened, right afterwards. And he says, I know why it happened, because of what I did. Now, Yara Psaki went 3 times to the same Godla. He was the biggest, the most oisgehalten, and he said, you're mechuyev, and he did it. And now I know why. And he asked the guy mechila again and again, and his wife asked his wife mechila, and still, I know why this happened. Now listen to this. You know what I told the guy 25 years ago? I told the guy in Hawaii, I was in Honolulu airport together with him. And I told him, I want to ask you a silly question. And he goes, I'm guilty. I'm guilty. I says, tell me, do you have a predisposition to feel guilty? B'chlal, way before this guy popped up in your life. He says, how did you know? I says, you have a geschmack in feeling guilty. I'm getting punished. You like that. And you're inviting it. This is the first time? No, you're right. How did you know that? You felt guilty about something 20 years ago that you did wrong, right? And then that happened and this happened. How did you figure that out? And then it happened to you again. And then this happened. So do you have an idea how you are the author of your condition? Every person has a script. You're this type, you're going to invite a certain problem because you are comfortable with that. You're used to it. Sometimes you got it from your parents and your grandparents. They had to say, I know some guys, they're always having financial problems. Always. It goes on forever. Finally I said, okay, something's not right. Tell me, how was your father? Oh, parnasa. Yeah, all day long. He was raised with parents kvetching over money. So he's going subconsciously, he invites problems with money, and this goes on forever. You got to get yourself out of that mode. You got to put yourself in it. First of all, decide, give yourself a new name, and say you're not one of those. And then you have to, it may not be pleasant to divorce yourself from your parents' mentality It's not healthy for you. It's not koach nefesh to be like your parents. And my father also fetched all day. Some people always talking about money. He was raised with that. So it's part of him. You copy it consciously, subconsciously, and you invite those problems. And it's all baloney. And I told the guy how to be a kaifa. And us in Novandik, we are kaifrim. We laugh at this stuff. Oh, that happened to you? Baloney! You're going to get schar. There's a meister, Rabbi Yosef Chaim Zonenfeld. He was told by Rabbi Shuli Diskin to go into the Chor B'Shul, I think it was in Yerushalayim, and announce a ban on the Siyanim. Something like Rabbi Shuli Diskin was a malach, and he told Rabbi Yosef Chaim Zonenfeld, give a clap, and that the Siyanim, whatever happened. And as soon as he gave a clap, they attacked him from all sides, the Zionists, and they almost killed him. They beat him up, and somebody, he had a lot of tzaras, Rabbi Chaim Zonenfeld. He lost a lot of his own children. And somebody once said, because you're a kanoi, that's why you're always one of those. So Hashem is punishing you for being a kanoi. You know what he answered them? He says, it's a pity I'm not a bigger kanoi. Because Rabbi Chaim Zonenfeld knew these things. The HR gets on your case. Did that wrong? Now you're getting punished. Keep out of din, says the Medrash Magid. Keep away from it. None of that. Rabbi Eliyapian once fell down and he didn't get up so fast. Why did you get up so fast? I'm trying to figure out, why did I fall? What did I do? What he did is dafka not for you. Don't get near it. Do you ever sit down and decide, why am I rewarded that I have such good Jack Daniels over here, Johnny, I have such friends. You ever think of that? Why do I deserve that? That you don't think about. When something goes wrong, I did an Aveira. Do you know, about a half year ago, I was saying 30% of the people that call me, I have to tell them don't be from. About 4 months ago, I said 40%. 3 months ago, I said 50%. I promise you. Today, 60%. The problem that everybody has is you're too from. And I heard this in Novandik. They told somebody in Novandik, they told the guy, but I know I'm no good. No, but it fits. Mom, is the day after I did that Aveira, or whatever, that happened. I know, you know. Your Yetzirah is having a field day. He's making that happen because he knows you're a perfect bait for that. There's a certain rutzin inside you of self-destructiveness. People have it. And the rest of us call it self-persecution. Come inside. Who? In Novandik. It means, I don't know. It means when you're getting too from, it's a Yetzirah. Too from, and the too from business is everywhere. Watch out. No more of that stuff. Focus, you know what the from Matisyo said once said, the last door has to focus their energies on Bטחון. The frumkeit has to be in how to be a big about Bטחון. Learn some more time. You're going to be such a masbid. Be a masbid in learning more of how to build yourself up. Why don't you spend another half hour saying you're a great guy? Why don't you do tshuva? You only said you're a Rash Kabag. That's nothing. I said 10 years ago I'm Rash Kabag. By now I'm moving up. Don't. The HR is going to kill you for that. And lie through your teeth throughout your life. There's no one better than me anywhere. Before I spoke in Bnei Brak, I still didn't ask one person how it went. Look, I tiny there was 1,000 people. And the rumor all over town is there was 1,000. I started the rumor, you know. But it's fine. There were hundreds and hundreds of people. It was a packed house. Sign Yerushalayim, they rented a hall. There was no room. It was gewaldig. Before I spoke, I said that speech was gewaldig. I said before I spoke, that speech was gewaldig. I'm not good at diktuk, especially this. That speech was gewaldig. The place is crazy over me. I did phenomenal. And what's my rationale? I did Ratzon Hashem, serious nefesh. It wasn't pleasant. What they told me about Bnei Brak, better watch what you're doing. This is Bnei Brak. Don't play games. They are... No jokes. No jokes. I'm in a business. No, but what am I going to do? What am I going to say? I was up all night. And so I must have never speak for me, but I didn't ask one person how it went. And I don't intend to ask anybody. Did I make a good impression? None of that stuff. They picked me up because I'm chashuv. See, what do I have? Miller's High Life. I drink High Life. I'm a dahibah mensch. I have a Heichel lemon. That's why I drink Miller's High Life. When I drink it, I have someone zikir Adam. Get some cups. Get some cups. You guys want to drink. These are serious drinkers here. Anyway, so I got to start this stuff already.